Okay, so this video is going to be on the law of sines and the law of cosines. So this first one, we're going to use law of sines to solve for c in this triangle. So this is not a right triangle, so we're going to use law of sines. Okay, so remember the law of sines is a over the sine of a is equal to b over the sine of b is equal to c over the sine of c. Okay, so for this problem here, I see that we already have a ratio that we can use with this 94 degrees and this 28. So here, we can do 28 over the sine of 94. And we're going to use that to set it equal to a side or an angle that we want to find. So here, we're going to solve for c. So we're going to try to solve for this angle. Well, the side that corresponds with that angle is this 11 right here. 11 right there. Okay, so we're going to have 11 over the sine of c. We don't know the sine of c. Okay. Now we want to solve for c. So I'm going to do here, the easiest way, is we're going to cross multiply. So if we cross multiply like that, we're going to get 11 times the sine of 94 is equal to 28 times the sine of c. Okay, well, we're solving for c. It's not by itself yet, so I'm going to divide by 28. Divide by 28. So here I get 11 sine of 94 over 28 is equal to the sine of c. Okay. So now that I have that, well, c is still not by itself. So what's a way I can undo this sign? Well, the inverse. So I'm going to use the inverse of sine on both sides. So now I have the inverse of sine of 11 times sine of 94 over 28 is equal to c. I plug that into my calculator. I get 23.1 degrees is equal to angle C. Okay, so there's law of sines. The next law is law of cosines. For this one, we're going to do another triangle. For this one, let's see A, B. This is 24, this is 21, and this is 27. Okay, so let's solve for angles here. And angle 6. Okay, well here, I don't really have a ratio I can use, like law of sines, to set that up. So when I don't have a ratio that I can use, I have to use the law of cosines. So the law of cosines is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times the cosine of c. Okay, so here I just plug everything in. So c is this side right here. So I'm going to have 21 squared is equal to, well, a is this side right here. So 27 squared. And then that's our b right here, 24 plus 24 squared minus 2 times a, which is 27, times b, which is 24, times the cosine of c. Okay, so we want to solve for the cosine of c here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in parts. So 21 squared is 441. 27 squared is 729. 24 squared is 576. 76. Okay, 2 times 27 times 24 is 1,296 times cosine of c. Okay, so I'm going to combine and then subtract over. So when I combine these two and subtract it over, I get negative 864 is equal to negative 1,296 times cosine of c. Okay, we're solving for c, so c is still not by itself. So I'm going to divide by this negative 1,296. Divide by this negative 1,296. So here, the 864 over 1,296 is equal to the cosine of c. Okay, well, how do I undo that cosine and get c by itself? I use the inverse cosine. So now I get the inverse cosine of 864 over 1,296 is equal to c. I plug that into my calculator. I get angle C is equal to 48.2 degrees. Okay. So now let's say we wanted to solve this triangle and find every angle. Well, I found C. Okay. Now that I found one angle, now I can go back and use law of sines. So when you're using law of cosines, we should only have to use it once. And then to solve for the other angles, we use law of sines. So that is law of sines and law of cosines.